What's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Football Office Hours presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by Josh and John Luke, and we are here to answer any and all questions you guys have now that week 2 is wrapped up, whether that's waiver wire ads, trade questions, start sits for week 3, some early start sits. We're here to answer your questions, so go ahead and get them in the chat. Right now, guys, the chat is bumping already, but it is not with waiver wire questions. It is continuing the debate from our fast food bracket stream. There's some Chick-fil-A debate going on in the chat. Anthony said, welcome back. Chick-fil-A is still garbage. And
Facts.
Anthony, you know what?
Facts, Anthony.
As a company, as an organization, I agree with you. But, man, do I like some of their food. It's good. They got good food.
I don't eat any of it.
I will say,
it's tasty.
When JL was here, we had this new place near me called Project Pollo where it's all plant-based chicken, and I've had it 2 more times since JL left San Antonio.
Really?
It's pretty damn good. Like, it is comparable to the other like real chicken places, and the menu's just better. You can get like buffalo mac and cheese chicken. Like, it's top tier. I'm a big fan. Jay, and you said, welcome back. Chick-fil-A is still amazing and delicious. Anthony says lies, and Craig saying Chick-fil-A belongs on waivers. Craig saying, if Anthony and I agree on something, that says a lot. So Craig and Anthony agreeing on the Chick-fil-A take over there.
Absolutely. And I want to hit you guys hard. We're doing our office hours here. You come in if you have any questions, and I want to hit you guys. Yeah, that hard. It's going to be that hard. So you're sitting there with LaVisca Chenault on your fantasy team, and this is not my question at all. I don't have to deal with this in the league at all.
Definitely not.
And Sterling Shepard, he's sitting there available on your waiver wire, and you have LaVisca Chenault, who I'm a big fan of. I want to stay out of this one. Are you dropping LaVisca Chenault? He's your best guy you have to drop for Sterling Shepard. Look, I knew I was going to freeze you guys up like this. Because we did just talk about it. I do personally think that Kenny Golladay is going to get more involved in this offense. Simon just left. He doesn't want to deal with this question at all. But Kenny Golladay is going to get more involved with this offense. Evan Ingram hasn't played yet, and he's going to start playing, and he's going to be more involved in the short area side of the field where Sterling Shepard kind of plays. Let's just start with this. Do we think that Sterling Shepard continues his success that he's had?
Not to this level, but yes, I think he's involved all season. I think people severely underrated him. He's one of those players that people had a negative bias towards, probably because of the much higher expectations when he first came out. He never quite lived up to that role that people were expecting, and so they still look at him negatively. But he's found a role on this offense, and I think he's going to continue to produce even as Kenny Golladay gets more involved, Saquon gets fully healthy. That being said, Josh, I don't know the state of your team. But would Sterling Shepard be someone that you would immediately plug into your starting lineup?
In this team, no.
Okay,
no, I'm
keeping Visca on your bench. If you need someone you can start, this is similar to the Tyson versus Tony Pollard comments I made during the live stream we were just having. If you need someone to start right away, like you have to plug them in this week, Sterling Shepard is the one I'm going with. But the upside for Visca is still so much higher in my eyes, so I'll keep Visca on my bench if this is just a bench wide receiver. I'll take that upside.
Can we just appreciate for like a moment here how like just look back like a couple months ago at how much of like a sure thing Visca was going to be, and now look at it. Like I feel like this is such a sobering. It's one of those it happens every single year, but a sobering reminder that every single fantasy year you're going to get these players who everyone has convinced you in the offseason is going to be return a certain value, and we just don't know that. With that being said, I'm not dropping Visca for Shepard. I'm going to try and get Shepard if I can. I'm hoping that you have someone else to drop. If not, your team's probably pretty good, and you probably don't need to start Visca anyway. It's a wait and see for me. I'm hoping that this offense can get it together. I'm hoping that Trevor can start to feel comfortable in this offense, and that they can start moving. But until then, if Visca dropped to the waivers right now, I pick him up.
Yeah.
And thank you guys, because like LaVisca is involved. He's gotten 2 carries throughout the year, 16 targets, 9 receptions. He hasn't translated that into any touchdowns, and they're all short area targets, which aren't very valuable for fantasy. But just the fact that I do not have to start, I think that was a great point, Simon, that I do not have to start. either one of these guys going into next week, I'm going to hang on to Visca over Shepard and just hope for the best going forward. I hope that Trevor Lawrence develops his role while Sterling Shepard might lose some of those targets that he's been getting, right?
Feels like an overreaction in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, I agree. But again, there is no shame in dropping Visca for Shepard if you need to start this week. I just want to say that I'm totally fine with that. Scott in here, one more fast food take before we get into the fantasy restaurants. Said at least we can all agree In-N-Out is the most overrated that has ever existed. I legit feel sorry for people who love it, realizing actual decent burgers exist. To have lived so little is sad.
This is poetry.
I feel like this
pure
is a hot
poetry.
take. A lot of people like In-N-Out. I've never had it.
In-N-Out is
never had it.
such average fast food. It is like
I think I've heard Simon talk about this a lot.
It's painfully average. I was excited to try it the first time I went to Vegas. I'd never had it before. I grew up in Georgia, went to school in South Carolina. In-N-Out's not a thing. And then had it and was completely underwhelmed by that. But I agree with you there. Guys, we have some more fantasy questions in here. Jay had one for us, Anthony had one for us first. Said Panthers DST at Houston or Broncos DST versus the Jets.
I think you summed it up with the at and the versus. Broncos are going to be at home versus the Jets. And I think both of these defenses are pretty similar, the Broncos and the Panthers. Both of the offenses they're playing against are very similar. Jets that Zach Wilson just showed that he likes to turn it over a lot. The Houston offense is probably worse than the Jets offense, but I'm taking the Broncos here. I'm taking the Broncos here at home. Yes, I am.
I agree that both of these are great matchups. Both of these are great streamable defenses. I'm taking Panthers. Panthers are my number one defense on the week. I think that they're going up against Jacob Eason and the Texans. This Texans team is not going to look like they have been the last 2 weeks, which is a weird thing to say because it's not at all what we expected. But
I'm going Panthers as well, but I do like the Broncos as a start this week. I think you can be comfortable starting them, but I'm going Panthers. Agree. JB Cho says Evan Ingram coming back. There we go.
Back. What up, Josh?
Yeah, what's up, Josh?
Other Josh.
No, that's the cool Josh. That's the cool Josh.
The cool Josh. You're Jeff.
Yeah, I'm Jeff.
Jay wants to know, need a flex this week. Pick up James White or Tony Pollard. So they have to start them. Which one are you starting, James White or Tony Pollard?
Pollard for long-term value.
In a PPR league, I'm starting James White over Tony Pollard. And I know Tony Pollard just had a great week, but I think James White's role is more guaranteed compared to Tony Pollard's.
I'm going Tony Pollard. I'm going Tony Pollard as well. I've just liked what I've seen a little bit better. James White will be involved. There's a chance he has another big week, but if I can avoid the Patriots running back game, I'll avoid it to the best of my ability. And I think Pollard's a great option. Albert has a question for us. Would you drop Chenault for Rondale Moore?
Oh, you made it worse.
You mother.
There's got to be someone else that you can drop other than Chenault.
So I'm assuming Simon's on the Rondale Moore side of this, right? Am I wrong? No, maybe. I don't know. You did make it closer. I'm still on the Chenault side. There, even though it's so super close.
I'm sorry. I said Jacob Eason before. I meant Mills.
Davis Mills.
I meant Davis Mills. Brain fart.
It's all good.
I think Eason's Colts.
So many backup quarterbacks are going to be playing next week.
So many.
Sucks.
I think I would.
None of them are like studs.
Oh man, I don't know. This one's tough for me because
Rondale Moore's upside's through the roof. While
that's
not.
For these bench players, that's what I like. I like just unbelievable upside. So I think I would. And that's why I said hold on to Visca instead of Sterling Shepard. Like I like Shepard, and if you don't have to start him right away, then I would hold on to Visca for the upside. And here, same thing. I think the upside's higher with Rondale Moore, so I'm going to go Moore. But man, that's a gross one.
Yeah.
Josh, which side did you land on here?
Visca. I could not drop Visca for Rondale Moore. I want Rondale Moore on my fantasy teams, but maybe it's a little biased because I was in on Visca going into the season, and just seeing his target share and how he's used it in this offense, I do think he can be a great fantasy player. It's just we haven't really seen that yet.
Albert, if this is a question that you're facing, if you don't mind, go ahead and post your roster in the chat here, and we'll see if we can find someone better for you to drop other than Visca, because I'm split on this one. This is a really tough one.
Yep. Unruly Drip in here said, hello,
What a
guys.
rip.
So do I drop Jarvis? So Jarvis Landry for KJ Osborne or Rondell Moore?
No, yes.
I agree with you, JL. I think at this point you can drop Jarvis Landry. He's out for at least 3 weeks. He wasn't someone that you were like super hyped about either. He was just a consistent wide receiver. I think you can drop him for Rondell Moore. Take that shot at the upside. I wouldn't do it for KJ Osborne. What about you, Josh?
It's really dumb. I even mentioning this, but if you have an IR, Jarvis on your IR, I'm just hoping you do.
That's not dumb. That's a good thing to say.
I do want Jarvis on my team when he comes back. I do want him on my bench, but we don't even know if we can start him with Odell Beckham. We haven't seen what the offense is going to look like with both of those guys on the field. Yeah, I'll drop him for Rondell Moore, not KJ Osborne.
Not KJ Osborne. Seems like we're all in agreement there. Kyle has a question for us. Kamara or Henry, PPR rest of season? Which one of those backs do you want rest of season, guys? Kamara or Henry?
It's got to be Henry. 35 attempts. Are you freaking kidding me? 35 attempts for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns this past week. That's unreal. I love Kamara as much as the next guy. It's got to be Henry for me.
Kamara's dropped like maybe a spot for me rest of season from the 2 to 3 range, and Henry's definitely risen a couple from like 6 to 5, but they are like back to back in my eyes as far as rest of season rankings go. But in a PPR league, I'm just going to have to give the tiebreaker to Kamara. I think better days are ahead for that New Orleans offense, and I'm going to take Alvin Kamara. But man, how about both? Can you just have both rest of season? Josh, which way are you going?
Asking either or, Simon. Yeah, I had these guys super close going into the season, and they're still super close now. They're still in the same tier of running back, and they kind of end a tier for me.
I got trivia for you guys. Who has more receptions on the year?
Oh,
Henry.
No. Don't tell me it's Derrick Henry. It's Derrick Henry. It's got to be.
What'd you say, Simon?
Derrick Henry.
It's Derrick Henry. He's got 9 to Kamara's 7. 9 to Kamara's 7.
Yeah, I'll take Derrick Henry, but it's super close. They're neck and neck.
That's a pretty. Why would I ask that if it was the other way? That's a pretty obvious trivia.
That's like a fantasy fortune question that Josh would ask if the answer actually was Kamara.
Oh yeah, now I can't use it. I shouldn't have asked that. I should have tucked that away for Friday.
We got some more questions in here, and everyone watching. And before you put your questions in here, I'm just going to assume redraft for all of your questions, unless you specifically state that it's dynasty or there's a draft pick involved. So if it is a dynasty league, make sure you let me know. Otherwise,
or if it's super flex or 2QB,
or if it's super flex,
one coming up here.
Give us as much context as possible, so that we can answer your questions to the best of our ability. While we're waiting for that, guys, I want to remind everyone watching, if you're enjoying this content, if we've helped you with any decisions so far this season, go ahead and hit that like button on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, Front Yard Fantasy. It means a ton to us, and we go live 5 days a week on our YouTube channel. It's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of our shows. That is 7 shows on our YouTube channel a week. And then we got two more FanDuel ones. We're always on here, guys. Kellen Brown has a question for us. He said, wait, I meant Dak. For some reason, it corrected to Adam. So that's supposed to say Dak. So Kyler Murray and Myles Gaskin for Dak and AJ Brown. He gets AJ.
Is this a super flex league or a 1 quarterback league? I really do think that matters here. But
even with a quarterback on each side, it still matters to you?
Yeah, because it just elevates those quarterbacks' values so much and like makes them more of a big part of it. Because otherwise, we're talking about it does change it for me. But I'm still gonna go with the Dak and AJ Brown side.
I'm gonna go with Dak and AJ Brown regardless, whether it's super flex or not.
Go see if you can trade for AJ Brown, because he's gonna become much more valuable than he has been that he's produced so far. I think that it's a perfect buy low opportunity for AJ Brown.
Yep. Yeah, completely agree.
And Kyler looks like he's been killing it, but Dak has been killing it as well. And AJ Brown's value is just so far ahead of
Gaskin. Is just like that. That's too much of a gap to Kyler and Dak.
I think it was Andrew Erickson that put it out this morning. AJ Brown has the most drops in the NFL so far. That is a perfect buy low candidate. That he's getting targeted. He's got all
He's
those
going to
drops.
regress. He's going to have some
positively regress. Okay, just want to make sure. A lot of people here regress and think negative. He will positively regress this season. Unruly Drip saying he traded for AJ Brown today. Traded Debo and James Conner for him. Beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful trade, Unruly Drip. A round of applause. That was fantastic.
Well done.
Then he said he also traded Claypool for Ayuk to stash. Thoughts?
Claypool straight up for Ayuk?
That's what it sounds like.
It looks like.
Less excited about that one.
I'm fine with it. If you believe in Ayuk, I wouldn't make that trade. I very rarely make 1-for-1 trades within the same position. Unless there's just like a massive difference in value between me and someone else. But yeah, it's fine. These guys are Claypool is a shot each week. He could hit a long bomb. Ayuk is a shot for the season. We're waiting to see if he's going to get more involved. No issues with this one. Josh, what about you?
For Claypool and Ayuk, obviously the AJ Brown for Debo Samuel and James Conner, that's a steal, man. Great job on Rule of Drip. Claypool for Ayuk, I'm leaning on the Claypool side. We just heard that Ben Roethlisberger has a pec injury, which does scare me for Claypool. But if Deontay Johnson's out for any time at all, Claypool's going to eat. Ayuk, I think we're all nervous about him going forward. I think he's going to have better weeks to come, but Claypool over Ayuk right now.
Yeah, Ayuk's firmly in a hold category for me. I'm just worried about the soft tissue stuff, the hamstring stuff. Chase Claypool, I'm not even worried if Ben is not able to make some long passes. I still think they're going to try and get Claypool used in those sweep plays. They're still going to try and get him on those short yardage plays. So I'm not as worried about Claypool. Oh, you're muted.
I'm muted. I said, we got a question from Uday Bindra in here. Thoughts on Kittle? I know we talked about this on yesterday's stream a little bit. John Luke, are you worried about Kittle?
Not at all. Not at all. He'll bounce back.
Yep. Josh?
I guess I'll mention that, like, I'm not worried about him. He's going to be a top 5 tight end at the end of the season. But I am concerned about him with the value of the other tight ends we're seeing. Look, I see how you guys feeling about Hawk. That's another question we just got. Would you guys rather have TJ Hawkinson or George Kittle?
No,
for the rest
put
of the
that
year?
back in the box.
I'm doing it. No,
Guys.
I did it to you guys. And you got to choose. Would you rather have TJ Hawkinson or George Kittle? You want me to answer first?
Yeah.
You want me to answer first? In a PPR league, I'm going TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, that's ugly. That is so ugly.
And I love Kittle. You know how much I love Kittle. I think Kittle's going to have a fine finish. By the end of the year, he's going to be a top 5 tight end, but TJ Hawkinson's involvement in the offense is too large to ignore.
8 receptions on 11 targets in week 1, and then 8 receptions on 9 targets yesterday.
Yeah.
It's Hawkinson.
It's hard to
just
ignore.
Want to say whenever like preseason tight end rankings, Hawk was my number 4, right behind that top 3. And I do think he was closer to those 3 than he was to Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts in my eyes. My concerns with the Ravens offense still there. And then my concerns with Kyle Pitts being a rookie tight end in a new offense. So man, that Pitts Hawk or the Hawk Kittle line has gotten even closer since the season started.
And I'm the Kittle guy on the show. I'm the Kittle guy. I'm saying Hawkinson, guys. I'm saying Hawkinson overkill the rest of the year in a PPR league. In a standard league, I'm still taking Kittle. I think his big play, explosiveness. I still want on my team, but
I'll still go Kittle, but I think it's a conversation to be had. Josh, I do not fault you at all for saying Hawk rest of season. Man, that's fun though. I think Hawk's the real deal this year, guys. I'm excited for him. Anthony said, I'd rather have Hawkinson. Kittle will be better once Lance starts, but who knows when that'll be? Yeah, we do not know. Michael Chapp has a question for us.
Ooh,
Derek Carr or Justin Herbert this week?
Yeah.
The Raiders are going up against the Dolphins, and the Chargers are going up against the Chiefs. So would you rather have Derek Carr at the Dolphins or Justin Herbert at the Chiefs?
Justin Herbert. It's going to be a shootout. This is going to be a high-scoring game, and Justin Herbert has played better than his fantasy finish has shown. Justin Herbert's going to be just fine the rest of the fantasy season. Keep him in your lineups.
And Luke?
It's Herbert for me as well. It's not super close. It's not super close.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not favored. It's a 6.5 point line. I think he's going to have to throw a lot. 55.5 over under, 55.5 total. So I think this is going to be a shootout as well. I'm going Herbert.
I'm going Herbert as well. Then on the other side, Sutton or Gordon. It's Sutton for me. In that Broncos game versus the Jets, I'm going Cortland Sutton. What
Sutton
about you
or
guys?
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Sutton. Easy.
John Luke.
Yep, Sutton.
Kenny has a trade question for us. Should I trade Kamara for Kelsey and A-Rob? My other RBs are stacked, but his tight end is Logan Thomas, 10-man PPR. So should he trade Kamara for Travis Kelsey and Allen Robinson? Yeah. If your other running backs are stacked, go and do it. Like if you feel comfortable at running back, then
in a 10-man league, that tight end differentiator is going to matter more because you're playing your opponents more frequently, right? Think about it. You're going to, for one of your opponents, you're going to play them maybe twice in a season now, or maybe slightly less, like 1.8 times per season. So that tight end differentiator is going to matter. Kelsey's absolutely that differentiator, and he's a first round pick. So I could see Kelsey going above, before Kamara in some drafts. Probably not as likely, but throw A-Rob on top of it, easy.
Yep, agree. Unruly Drip wants to know Derek Carr or Ryan Tannehill this week. So like we said,
a lot closer than Herbert.
Oh yeah, that is closer than Herbert. I agree. Sorry, we mentioned before that the Chiefs are playing, or the Raiders are playing the Chiefs, and the Titans are playing the Colts this week. So this is a Ryan Tannehill at the Colts or Derek Carr. Sorry, not at the Chiefs, at the Dolphins. Sorry, I completely misspoke.
Derek Carr
at the Dolphins.
Yeah, at the Dolphins.
Herbert's playing the Chiefs. I'm going Tannehill still here, guys. I like what I've seen from Tannehill going forward. I think they're going to have a little bit more trouble rushing against the Colts, and they're going to have to pass the ball. There was that Julio Jones touchdown that got called back on Tannehill's side. I know Derek Carr's been playing fantastic, but I'm going Tannehill.
I'm also going Tannehill. Yep.
Hey,
let's go, there's a very real chance Carr outscores him this week, but I'm taking Tannehill. I just like it better. Michael Greenson said Amari Cooper or Scary Terry this week.
That's a question.
What makes it more of a question is Cooper's bruised ribs. So he's a little bit banged up out there. So that makes it a bit more of a question for me. If Cooper was not dealing with any sort of injury, it would clearly be Amari Cooper for me, even after Terry's big week and Cooper's disappointment. But man, that makes it a lot closer in my eyes. So Washington football team is going up against the Bills, and the Cowboys have the Eagles. I'll go Scary Terry at this point. They're close enough that the rib injury is going to be the tiebreaker for me, and it's going to make me put Scary Terry in there. Because even if Cooper's out there, there's a chance he's banged up. It gets aggravated. His pain tolerance can't hold up. I'll go Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, neither is facing a very an easy
favorable
secondary
matchup.
Yeah, they're Terry's got Buffalo, Mari's got Philly. I would go Terry McLaurin.
I also go Terry McLaurin, and Simon summed it up. It's because of the rib injury. It's very close regardless, but with the injury on Cooper's side, it's got to be Scary Terry.
I could see them, easing. They have plenty of options there. I could see them just like not.
Cooper plays on Monday.
And Jay's got a great point. Yeah, Amari Cooper plays on Monday with a up in the air injury status. That's too risky unless we get some clarity ahead of time. Like unless you have CD Lamb on your bench, which I don't even know what you would be doing here that you had someone on your bench.
In which case I'd probably start CD Lamb
over Amari Cooper
anyway. Yeah.
Like a Tony Pollard maybe on your bench, and you could make this call, but in the flex spot, that one's close. Uday has another question for us. Thoughts
this is
on
a
trading
fun one.
Antonio Gibson, Chris Godwin, and Gronk for Aaron Jones, George Kittle, and Robert Woods. He's got A.J. Brown, Thielen, Galladay as his other receiver. So Gibson, Godwin, and Gronk for Aaron Jones, Kittle, and Robert Woods.
That's a fun one.
So you're taking
I got an opinion.
Okay, Josh, you go first because I was about to just break it down out loud. You go first.
Well, that's what I was going to do, actually. It's Aaron Jones versus Antonio Gibson. I'm going Aaron Jones, and that's a pretty solid Aaron Jones in my mind. Let's go to the tight ends, Kittle versus Gronk. I'm still going Kittle, even though Gronk, it's close. It's close. Godwin, Robert Woods, it's Godwin, but this is close too. There was only one one part of this trade where I was like, Aaron Jones definitely over Antonio Gibson, even though I love Antonio Gibson. I'm taking the second half of this trade. I think it's a very close trade, but I am taking Aaron Jones, Kittle, and Robert Woods myself.
I was on the Gronk, Gibson, Godwin side until you broke it down, Josh. I'm firmly on the other side. You're right.
There we go. I'm glad I could convince you.
You convinced me. I'm firmly on the other side. Aaron Jones over Gibson is a massive gap. So
that's 100% what I was going to say. The gap between Aaron Jones and Gibson is big enough in my eyes that I don't even care if you're downgrading a little bit at the other two positions. If you view it that way, I don't for Kittle and Gronk, but
yes.
Even if this was say Aaron Jones, Tyler Higbee, and Robert Woods, I think I would still take the Aaron Jones side of this trade.
That's closer to me. That's closer. I don't know if I could do that. But that's close.
I think I would.
I don't know if I could do that.
So Kellen,
I have another trivia for you guys.
What? Hit me. Oh no.
Who had more carry? Who had more rushing attempts this past week? Was it Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones times 2?
Aaron Jones times 2.
I'll go with Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry had more.
I thought you were going for the double reverse trick out.
No. Aaron Jones had 17, which is 34. Derrick Henry had 35.
That's crazy. That's
so
crazy amount of
just
carries.
to give you context of how many freaking carries Derrick Henry got. That's so stupid.
That's so preposterous. Kellen giving us a little more context to that trade question earlier. So his team is quarterback Kyler, running backs Alvin Kamara, Saquon, wide receivers Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, TJ Hawkinson, and then flex Michael Thomas and Myles Gaskin. Would the team be better with AJ Brown instead of Gaskin and Dak instead of Kyler? So you replace Myles Gaskin with AJ Brown, you replace Kyler with Dak Prescott. Which version of this team do you like better? I like the one with Dak Prescott and AJ Brown in it more than the one with Kyler and Myles Gaskin. There is a definite drop off from Kyler to Dak a little bit in my eyes, but that is more than made up for in the increase from Gaskin to AJ Brown for me.
Yes, I agree.
You guys agree?
Fully agree.
Michael wants to know, do you guys think this week is Saquon time? Is this the week that Saquon gets it going?
It's Saquon time. Yes, I do agree. I think Saquon finally has been he's getting more and more healthy as the weeks go along, and I think this is the week that he breaks out. He's going to have at least 17 PPR fantasy points. Lock it in. You heard it here first. Josh,
I'm all aboard. This Falcons defense is just asking for Saquon to go off. I feel like even if it's in the passing game, they've been pretty bad for opposing quarterbacks. Daniel Jones can use Saquon in the passing game. I think this is a Saquon week. What do you think, John Luke?
Yep, week 2, he had a shortened time frame. Forget the number of days, but basically went from Sunday to Thursday, and now he's going to have Thursday to Sunday. So he's got an extended time to rest. I think the biggest issue, and then easing him back, and you could just see it, man. You could see the rust. You could see that he's just easing back in with this injury. He had a very serious injury. So it's Saquon time.
It's Saquon time.
It's Saquon time.
And of course, you're welcome. That's what we're here for, giving some
question.
advice. Yeah, thanks for coming in and bringing the questions. We love answering them, so we're glad that you brought them in there.
I do love answering questions. And speaking of questions that I love to answer, guys, Michael Pittman, if he's on your waiver wire, we don't. Carson Wentz has 2 sprained ankles, 2 of them. I'm not even gonna give a player to compare with him, but do you really want him on your fantasy team?
Who? I forgot to listen. Michael Pittman.
Are you going out of your way to pick him up in fantasy leagues?
Yeah, I would try and pick him up. I mean, he's talented. We don't know how long Carson's going to be out, and he was hyper targeting Pittman this past week. So I would be surprised if he's on many waivers. I don't know what his roster percentage is, but
I think you have to, if he's on waivers, go get him. I think if he's on waivers, he's like the top priority ad in my mind this week. So at least at the wide receiver position.
Rondell
Moore,
Pittman
up. That's
that's
what I was saying.
I forgot.
That's what I was about to say.
I hate these. Why does this keep happening to us?
Okay, and cop out again. I'm going to go back to what I said before. If you need someone to start right away, I think it's Pittman. I think you can.
But is it with Carson Wentz's 2 sprained ankles? Is it? Is it though? Right? I think I go Rondell Moore just because of Carson Wentz's 2 sprained ankles.
I gotta go
hate you
Rondell
guys.
Moore.
Yeah,
and
it's
I hate
Rondell
it.
Moore.
I hate it. I hate it.
I know it sucked. And how about Sterling Shepard? He just won our bracket last week when we did our normal 3:00 show. Sterling Shepard, we all agree, is a pickup. But but we all agree he isn't going to be quite as good as he's been the first 2 weeks. Are we picking up Michael Pittman or Sterling Shepard?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I
Abstain.
In a full point PPR league, it'd be hard not to try to go after Sterling Shepard after what he's shown. But I think Michael Pittman's upside is higher. I do.
They are both so close for me.
Rondell Moore.
I'm
probably going
Rondell Moore's the leader here.
You know, I need to start getting a chart to like chart all these out, making sure I'm not doing anything like backwards based on previous answers, because these guys are all so close. In the heat of the moment, I could see myself like making a slightly different decision. Shepard.
That's a good point. That's
no,
a really good point.
Like, no, I would take Moore over Shepard, but I would take Pittman over Moore, but I would take Shepard over Pittman. I could create like a triangle. And all of them I could mean in the moment, but those three guys are very close. If I had to rank those three waiver wire pickups, it's probably Rondell Moore, Sterling Shepard, Michael Pittman, but they are all like neck and neck and neck.
I have a very, 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 very similar order.
Okay, guys. If there are no more questions from everybody in the chat, we are going to end our office hours today. There's a party in the teacher's lounge we got to get to, so office hours is wrapping up a little bit.
So much to drink.
Oh, they are revealing the new coffee machine today. And it's a Keurig. So we are having a party over in the
it's like a series.
lounge.
It's like a generation 5 Keurig. It's gonna be a really good one.
Josh's teacher impersonation.
What the hell was that, Josh?
I don't know, but I love it. We're all gonna split up just like a fifth of Bailey's.
Yeah,
let's go. Cheers.
Guys, that is it for us today. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time playing some more games. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that.
Every weekday.
Until then, everyone, adios. Thanks for the question.
Trading makes fantasy fun. Love you guys.
Of course.